Now I've started recording. So, hello guys, once again, it's your boy Touch Sec with episode 4 of this podcast. Here with me, we have a man of that has done tremendous things. Let him introduce himself. So, let him speak.
What's up, guys? My name's Chase Henderfit. I am a aspiring fitness influencer. I actually currently run an online training business as well as in-person fitness training business. And I also run a podcast called The Young, Healthy, and Wealthy, where I try to help the young entrepreneurs of the world figure out how to become the healthiest and wealthiest version of themselves. So, Touch Tech, thank you so much for bringing me on the show, man. This is an absolute honor. I know we got the podcast just started rolling, so this is really good stuff, man. I love doing the podcast. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you as well for coming on my podcast. So, without further ado, let's go on with the question. So, tell us what you do, what kinds of things, what you do basically. Tell us what you do basically.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I help people achieve their fitness goals to not only increase their health, but also to increase their wealth. So a lot of the people I work with when it comes to my online fitness coaching, they are entrepreneurs and executives themselves. So they have a really hard time in just time management when it comes to putting their fitness first and their health first. Maybe they won't eat as well, or they just won't work out at all because of time conflicts. So basically what my job is I come in and I help them, manage their time a little bit better, and then also craft a fitness and nutrition plan for them that fits their lifestyle so that they're able to get healthier. Because there's actually been a couple studies done that showed the difference between high performing CEOs and low performing CEOs. And they found that one of the big differences between the two was their energy levels, and their energy levels were determined by how physically fit they were. So that's where I found my niche within the fitness realm, because it's such a huge industry. It's very hard to tap it. But I saw this as a problem, and I decided to go head on and attack it.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's your own little way of standing out, right?
What was that?
That's your way of standing out from the crowd.
Oh yeah. That, and then the podcast that I run too, which is geared towards entrepreneurs and executives to pretty like younger ages, to really motivate them to actually take action in their life, make them healthier, and then also see I interview other entrepreneurs like you do, and then see what they've done to become wealthier, so that my listeners can go in, copy that, and then apply it to their lives.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like the mixture of both of those.
What's one thing you wish you had known when you began with your fitness career and your podcast kind of stuff?
What's one thing I would have known? It's more so, I wouldn't say that there's something I wish I would have known, because a lot of what I've learned has been through just finding mentors and coaches, and then learning through trial and error. I think the biggest thing though is just, I wish I would have gotten out of my comfort zone a little bit sooner. Because I was always worried about, what are people going to think about me, like doing this podcast, or, am I actually going to be able to bring people results within fitness coaching? So I ended up I thought about doing fitness coaching for years, and I just never did it, because I was just, it was that bad mindset, like a negative mindset. And it wasn't until I reprogrammed my brain to think in a more positive light, more progressive fashion, that things actually started to happen. And now, I've got the podcast rolling. I've got the online coaching business rolling. I've got the in-person coaching business rolling. And, they've all just absolutely taken off, because I decided to take action on something, and I decided to not care what other people thought. So, long story short on that question is, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's something I wish I would have known. It's more so, I wish I would have reprogrammed my brain for positivity and for growth earlier on.
Well, you mentioned something about mentors. Can you tell my audience what's the importance of having a mentor, things like that?
Like a positive mindset?
What's the importance of having a mentor?
Oh, a mentor. Yeah. So, oh God, I love this. So my dad is actually an entrepreneur at heart as well. So a lot of what I've learned within just entrepreneurship, marketing, advertising, sales, just about everything. I've learned a lot from him. And his number one piece of advice that he's always told me since I was like little kid, when I was like, oh, I want to be the best soccer player on my team, or oh, I want to be, the top guy in my math class, or whatever it might have been. He would always say to me, the best advice that you can get and the best experience you can get is someone else's. So by going and finding someone who's done what you want to do, you can literally just see what they've done, take the good parts that they've done, remove the bad parts that they've done, and then it's like a fast track to success. So basically it's like if you find someone who's 10 years ahead of you, right? And then you do a year of work with them, you're pretty much, you've gone a year into whatever field you're in, but you've also taken that 10 years of their knowledge and expertise and like injected it into your path. So technically you're like 11 years ahead of the game, as opposed to just doing for one of just trial and error, doing your own thing. So it's really good to find somebody who is in your ideal position that you want to be in, and then seek their guidance, seek their wisdom. Maybe it's just follow them on social media, or maybe you reach out to them and provide them value of some sort in exchange for some mentorship or some coaching. So it's definitely vital that you get a mentor. I mean, I've got tons of coaches and mentors for fitness, for coaching, for podcasting, for positive mindset growth, for personal enhancement, like everything. I've got coaches and mentors for everything.
Yeah, and you also talk about mindset, and that's something I really love talking about on my Instagram. So what do you feel people should do to develop like a good mindset, a growth mindset?
So the first thing that I would tell someone to do, and this is going to seem like very base level, like, oh, there's no way that this is going to help you at all, but it's literally just make your bed in the morning. Start out with that. And there's there's a book about it. And there's also a speech from a Navy SEAL officer from the US that talked about this. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I love it. It's basically just by making your bed, that's a win. That's a win in your day. You might be going through your day where you have like a 9 to 5, you hate your boss, you hate your job. You come home, maybe it's not like a great household, maybe it's toxic, whatever this is not. You might have just like, you can say that you made your bed that day. That's a win, and that's a start to momentum. So when you start your day with a win, you can start winning over and over and over again. And the big thing about those wins is that when you start winning, you're teaching yourself like, hey, I can win. By teaching yourself that you can win, you're building your confidence. And by building your confidence, you're able to go push through bigger obstacles, which are going to yield bigger wins, which ultimately is going to reprogram your brain just to be like, oh, I can win, I can win, I can win, I can win. So the biggest thing I can tell someone is to start doing that. Make their bed, and then I listen to podcasts and motivational speeches like 24/7. I listen to them all the time. It's always positive messages in my ear going on and on and on and on and on, just to reinforce that positive mindset, to really program my brain to think in a progressive success mindset.
Wow. Another question I like to ask is more or less related to your fitness and business side. What is your biggest failure and what did you learn from it?
What was my biggest failure?
Yeah.
So my biggest failure is multiple failures. So this fitness business is not my first business I've started. I've tried drop shipping. I tried having like I don't know if you know what CBD is, kind of like this medical stuff. So I tried having a CBD store. I tried having a fitness apparel brand. I tried having a fitness blog for college kids. I've tried being ambassadors for different companies. I've tried sales. I've tried so many different things, and I've failed so many times. But the biggest thing that I've learned through all of that is more so like I've learned little bits and pieces along the way. Like with drop shipping, I learned how to use Facebook ads and how to market. With CBD, I learned branding, like how to construct a brand and actually push it to where people gravitate towards that name. With doing ambassadorship and sales, I learned how to talk to people, and I learned how to sell my products and my services to people. So it was really, I failed so many times in so many different arenas. And a lot of people see that and be like, oh, well, if you're failing so much, you're losing. Well, no, I don't think it's failing. I've just learned another way of how not to make money in my respective path. And I've learned different things along every single path too, like I said. So I would say the biggest failures have just been failed businesses over and over and again. But from each failed business, I've learned a new principle that I could apply to the next one, which has now led me to online coaching, which is, what I'm doing now.
Wow, that's amazing. Just look at failure as an opportunity to learn something new that will help you in your next journey. So, what advice will you give someone that wants to pursue a career similar to yours? James?
So if somebody wants to pursue a career that I'm doing, I would first tell them, actually, I've got a thing on my wall here. It's an acronym called SHARK, and it's amazing. So first step with SHARK is, and I got this from entrepreneur Damon John. It's absolutely amazing. So S, you got to set a goal. So you got to, when you go into something, you can't just like go full force, like, okay, I'm doing this now. Okay, well, why are you doing it? Like, is there an ultimate reason? Are you looking to make a certain amount of money? Are you looking to help a certain amount of people? Like, are you trying to build a brand? What are you trying to do with it? What's the main goal? What's the end goal with it? So you need to figure out what, your goals are and why you're doing it. The next is H, you have to do your homework. So if you want to be in, let's say the fitness industry, for example, you have to know something about fitness. Like with me, like I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm in university for exercise physiology. I've been studying this stuff and reading research articles for the past 7 years. Like I've done my homework. So like I've got the knowledge. I've done a lot of the homework to be able to know what I'm talking about. So that's another big thing. Another one is A, you got to adore what you do. If you don't love what you're doing, then don't do it. It's a waste of your time because, you're just going to be miserable day in and day out. And that's not an effective way to build a business because if you don't love it, your customers aren't going to love it because they'll see how much disinterest you have towards your product or your service. And they'll be like, okay, well, if this guy doesn't even like doing it, who's to say that like they're going to provide me with a good product or they're going to provide me with a good service? So you have to make sure you love what you do, adore what you do. The next one is, remember, you are the brand. So no matter what you're doing, whether it's in business, whether you're working at a company or you're doing freelance work, you are a brand. We are now in the age of personal branding where everybody is their own personal brand, which, I think you're doing a fantastic job of building your personal brand. Only 13 years old and you're like motivational speaker. You've got the content out there, putting out the positive messages. Literally anybody's watching this, you need to go look at his content because it is actually perfect. It is spot on because he realizes like, okay, I want people to associate me with positivity and motivation, and I'm going to create content around that. So that's huge. So whatever, you want to be known as, you are the brand. Build your brand. Build up who you want people to look at you as. So go ahead, build a brand. It doesn't matter, like, if you build out a business, your business is a representative of you. So however healthy you are, that's how healthy the business is. Whatever you act like, that's how your business is going to act like. So you need to remember that you are the brand. And then that when you make that company, that's going to be another external representation of who you are as a brand as well. And then the last one, K, keep swimming. Just keep going. You can't stop for anything. It's going to be like, I know another thing for some of the companies that I had that failed, I was doing it for like 3 months, maybe for some of the companies. And then I'd stop, be like, okay, I'm not making any money. It's been 3 months. I'm done. Had I just kept going for another 3 months, I might have, done well. I might have had a successful business there with, the CBD brand, or maybe it would have been drop shipping. I would have made a lot of money. So it's like, you're going to hit lows, and especially when you first start off in business. You probably, won't make a lot of money in the beginning. It's probably, you might even dip and lose a lot of money. But as long as you keep swimming and you know that you're doing the right things, you get the right mentors that are telling you and teaching you to do the right things, you just got to keep swimming. You got to keep going. So yeah, the acronym is SHARK again. S is set a goal. H is homework. A is adore what you do. R is remember that you are the brand. And K is keep swimming. That's the best advice I can give, because I got that. And once I got that from Damon John, I was like, full speed ahead. Let's go.
That's very wonderful. I love what you mentioned about goals, about loving what you do. And Warren Buffett has actually said something. I'm not sure whether it's Warren, but he said something that it's very hard to be successful when you're doing something you don't love doing.
Right.
Because the passion might not just be there. And you also said setting goals. And I really love setting goals because there's something setting goals have taught me. And I learned from someone who was like, can't score a goal without a goal post. So what's the essence of not setting goals? You have to set
I
goals
like that.
to score. So let's go to the next question. What are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Best resources for me have been the best things I've ever put money towards has been going to like networking events or joining entrepreneurship masterminds or investing in coaches. Because like the best thing, oh, actually, this is perfect too. Books are an amazing one if you're, especially if you're starting out. Because a lot of these events and like masterminds, they get pretty expensive, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm just starting out. Maybe I don't have the money to do this. Books are the best thing you can do because there's this is a quote I love using. So the richest place in the world is the graveyard because that's where everybody's hopes, dreams, desires, and goals died with them. And so like that's the richest place in the world. The second richest place in the world, which nobody talks about, but I realized when I started implementing it, is a library, a bookstore, because you have millionaires, billionaires, and $1 trillion like conglomerates of corporations, whatever, writing books about what they've done, what works, what doesn't work, and they just laid it out for you for like $10 for a book, maybe five. Like it blows my mind as to how many people don't read, and it's crazy because I know over here in the U.S. it's like the average person reads maybe one book a year. Whereas if they had read like 10 books a year, like not only would they be so far ahead, mindset wise and progressive wise, like achieving their goals, but they would know so much more. Like it blows my, like I try to read a book a day because I realize how important it is to read and to learn. So I think the best thing when you're first starting out is like really, like I said in the beginning, the best experience in the world is somebody else's. Go read books about what people have done. Go read the books about successful people. And then over time, start investing in these masterminds, start going to networking events, because that's where you're going to meet people that are really going to push you forward and push your business forward.
Yeah, that's very nice. Networking is very important in any business. So the next point is, what are the three main people that have been influential to your career and in the way you act, the way you do everything about you?
What was I didn't hear that. What was that?
What are the three most influential people to you?
Three most influential people to me. Okay. First one I'd have to say is my dad, just because he was an entrepreneur and he was someone that he was like another like rags to riches stories where he came from nothing and then he did really well for himself. I mean, at one point he had $1 billion company over in the US. So like he did really well. And what was really cool about that and what was really inspirational for me was like, it didn't matter where you were in life, you could make something of yourself. And having experienced that kind of lifestyle for a bit, like, because he did really well, and having experienced that lifestyle, I was like 10 years old when it happened, but it was like I saw it in action. So it was like not only did he inspire me with his story, but he inspired me through his action and like the result of what could be. So that's one thing that like drives me every single day is just the work that he put in and the life that he was able to provide was something like a motivational source for me to keep going. So definitely my dad's one of those people that really inspired me. Another like, I guess another person is actually Richard Branson. I love Richard Branson. I don't know if you've read his books before, but like his biographies, but he's someone that's just like, his route to success was so crazy. I mean, he had music stores, he's got his airlines, he has fitness clubs, he has I mean, you name it, he's got everything. But throughout the entirety of it, like he had fun. And reading through his story and seeing like the ups and downs and everything he did, like he still treated life as though it was a game. So that was one of the people that's really motivated me to keep moving forward, but to also realize that, take some time to live life and enjoy the process while you're doing it. Don't just like grind your face off. Don't just grind to get stuff done, but it's more so grind, but still learn to enjoy the grind. So that's definitely one of those people that's really inspired me. And the third one is more so not a person, but my social circles. So I've got people I'm connected with, like, I don't know if you're familiar with any of these people, Justin Caballero, Aaron Platt, and Ryan Michael with a company called Social X. That's a mastermind I'm a part of. I've got Alex Quinn of Hustle Inspires Hustle, Chris Delgado of Go Marketing. You got Brody Kern and Brian Donovan of Wake Up Wealthy, like all these like networking, mastermind marketing companies over here in the US. Like these are all people that are within my social circles, and they're relatively close to my age too. So that's like a huge motivational force for me too, because I see them killing it, and it drives me. I see their hustle, and it inspires me to hustle because I see that they're so close to my age, and I see what they've done, so it makes it possible for me. So I'd say, like, as my third person, it would just be the conglomerate of my social circles that are lifting me up and pushing me forward.
Wow. The next question is, if you could step into my shoes, what question would you love me to ask you as?
I love that question. I asked that question on my podcast too. I love that question. God. All right. So if I was the one interviewing me, what would I ask?
Yes.
Okay. God. I asked this on my show, and I haven't even really thought about it for myself. I think the biggest thing for me, this is huge. So this is going to come off really negative at first. It's going to sound really negative, but it's not. And one of the things I wish I would have realized sooner, and something I would have addressed, is like, how do I address the idea that like people are judging me? Like, if I go and do like this podcast, like, are people going to judge me? Like, how do I get around people judging me? How do I get around people making fun of me for doing this endeavor? How do I get around people, saying negative things and like tearing me down? Because I know with me, like I've been very, very self-conscious for like the entirety of my life. I did not talk to anyone because I didn't want to say anything stupid. I was a super introvert because I didn't want to say anything that would make me look stupid. And I didn't do anything because I didn't want to do anything that made me look stupid. But then it wasn't until I realized this one thing I'm about to tell you that it completely changed my life. And it's that no one cares.
Wow.
No one cares about you. No one cares about what you're doing. Nobody cares what you've done, and nobody cares what you're about to do. So when I first heard that, I was like, damn, that's so negative. Like I want people to care about what I'm doing. I want people to, see that what I'm doing and like say good things about it. And I realized, people are going to say good things about what you're doing, and people are going to say bad things about what you're doing. I've had plenty of friends tell me that they're inspired by what I'm doing. They're motivated. And I've had other friends sit me down and look me eye to eye and go, what are you doing? You need to get a real job, and you need to like get out of this fantasy world that you're in and do something that's actually going to provide for you. So I've had both ends of the spectrum. But what I realized is that they care in that moment, but then like the 99% of the time, of the rest of the time, they're sitting there going, okay, does my shirt look okay? Do I look okay? Is my hair okay? Like, I don't want to say anything stupid because I don't want people thinking that I'm stupid, or I don't want to do anything that makes me look dumb, or, I'll just go with the flow because that's what everybody else is doing. Like everybody's so worried about themselves that they don't have enough time to really care about you 100% of the time. So you're going to get the positive notes and you're going to get the negative notes, but at the end of the day, nobody's super focused on you. So when I thought about that, I thought about it even more. I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I can literally do whatever I want and nothing's going to change. That distribution's still going to be there. So you'll still get people. It doesn't matter what you do. You could go with the flow. People will still be negative. People will still be positive. You could go against the grain and people will still be negative. People will still be positive. It doesn't matter what you do, because everybody's so focused on themselves that you have the freedom to make a life of your own. It doesn't matter which way you go. You can do what you want. So at the end of the day, nobody cares because everybody's so focused on themselves, which gives you the opportunity to care about yourself and to actually propel yourself forward even further, which is like, for me, at least, that was like a huge shift in mindset because I was so worried about what other people thought of me. What I realized is like, I need to worry about what I think about myself and just do the things that make me happy. Because at the end of the day, people can say negative things, but I don't care because I'm fulfilled. I love doing the podcast. I love coaching people online. So that's something that's like, as a long answer to your question, that would be something I'd ask myself, and that would be the answer I'd give.
Wow. The answer actually touches me. Well, on to the next question. How do you feel you are going to disrupt your industry? How do you feel you are going to change the way things are going? How do you feel you are changing it, or how do you feel you are going to change it?
So I think the biggest thing for I get in your words, disrupting the industry is more so I'm adding an element of possibility in everything I do, because one of the things that I really grew up thinking was that, you know, even though I've had high highs and low lows, I thought, you know, it's not possible for me. Like I'm just another kid. I can't do it. I can't make it. I can't make it. Like I can't get in shape. I can't I can't be popular, like all these things. But now I'm like, I've got the podcast, I'm putting it out, I'm a fitness coach. I'm showing people that it doesn't matter where you're at in life, you can still make something of yourself. You can do whatever you set your mind out to do. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So within my coaching, I try to really connect with my clients so I understand what's going on in their head and I can help them push past those barriers. Because in fitness, they say like 80% of it's nutrition, or no, like 75% of it's nutrition, 20% is fitness, and 5% is supplements. And I don't think that's the case. I really think it's like 30% nutrition, 15% training, 5% supplements, and 50% of it is your mindset. So the biggest thing is I really try to push that mindset aspect. You know, I put a lot of my posts that I put on Instagram all have to do with like my story or like my mindset, what's going on. Because I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people are, especially in this day and age, in a digital age where everybody's on social media and they're comparing, they feel like they're left behind. It's not the case. Everybody goes at their own pace. And you just have to know that in order to push forward and to succeed, you need to focus on yourself. You need to focus on your own mindset. So by helping people improve their mindset, it's going to help them in the gym. It's going to help them in their business. So that's something I really try to push within my coaching, within my social media. And then even on the podcast, I bring on people through all walks of life who have just made something of themselves, just to show people like, hey, if they did it, you can do it. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can make it happen.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's why I love pushing the aspect of mindset, because mindset basically determines the way you live your life. It
Oh,
determines
yeah.
the way you live your life. So that has been a very wonderful session. Can you just tell my viewers how they can connect with you on social media or any platform?
What was that? You broke up a little bit there.
Um, can you just tell my viewers how they can connect with you on social media or any platform you are on?
Yeah, for sure. So you can connect with me on Instagram. That's Chase_Henderfit. I'm usually on Instagram like all the time. So that's probably the best place to find me. You can also email me at chase@henderfit.com. I'm currently going through a revamp process on my website, but you can go ahead and check out the website, henderfit.com as well. But the biggest place to really get a one-on-one connection with like just how I think and the people I interact with would definitely be my podcast, which is the Young, Healthy, and Wealthy podcast. Go ahead and check that out. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it, it's everywhere. So, Instagram, email, website, podcast.
Wow, that's very wonderful. So you guys can connect with him on those platforms. So what's your final message for my viewers before we end the recording?
What was that?
So what's your final message for my viewers before we end it, or like 5 to 10 seconds?
Just go for it. Just go for it. Whatever you want to do in life, whatever you feel is best for you, whatever you've always wanted to do, go for it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have people that say yes and you're going to have people say no. But the only one that really matters is you. Are you going to say yes or are you going to say no? Are you going to go for your dreams or are you going to let it sit on the back burner and be one of those people in the graveyard that takes their dreams with them, as opposed to being one of those people that's in the library, which made their dreams happen and put it out to the world?
Wow, that's wonderful. Just do it.
Just do it.
So we have come to the end of today's podcast, episode 3. You guys go follow Mr. Chase on social media platforms. It's been nice meeting you.